Yes, Mr. Naseem Akram, am I audible to you now?
Yeah, you are audible. And what about me?
Yeah, you are also audible. What was
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah, now it's all right.
Okay, was there any network issue?
No, there was no any network issue. Like I had a device which wasn't working actually, like headphones.
Okay. So you have put the picture of Shashi Tharoor. What's the
Yeah, like
reason behind that?
I have been learning English by watching his videos on YouTube. Like he always uses new vocabulary, so I always try to learn a lot of things from him by watching his video. And I'm also one of his fan actually, so that's why I have put his profile. I mean, picture in my profile.
Do you also try to copy his accent?
No, I'm not trying to copy his accent. I'm just trying to copy his vocabulary. Actually, everyone has their own accent. How can I copy his accent?
Okay. So tell me something about yourself. Give me your short introduction.
Yeah, actually, like I told you that it has been raining since morning here, so it's really pretty weather. And myself, MD Nasim Akram, and I'm studying in the first year of my graduation, doing BSc from mathematics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Tell me something about them. What are your plus points,
Uh,
drawbacks?
well, talking about my study, when I talk about my strong point, that is my mathematics. I take mathematics as my strong point, and English is also one of my strong points. And and at the same time, when I talk about weak point, physics, I always worry with the physics, but not. I don't have that much distance from physics. Still, I enjoy it, but this is one of my weakness, like regarding study physics.
Okay, so what efforts did you take to overcome your weakness? Did you ever try to overcome that problem?
Yeah, actually, the thing is that I always try to make physics question just by imagining. So that's why, I mean, it takes time to solve question. I solve each and every question. But what happens, I don't focus more on memorizing things. So as a I just forget the concept after 1 or 2 months. And so that's why, like, it becomes too hard for me to recall whatever I studied.
Okay, and what is your aim in life? What do you want to become in your life?
Currently, I'm doing BSc from mathematics. After I complete my graduation, I will be doing uh, I will be doing UPSC, and like after BSc, there's also MSc. So if possible, then I will also be doing MSc. But after I complete my graduation, I will be focusing on to graduation.
Okay, and
Sorry, on to I will be focusing on to UPSC after graduation. I did mistake.
okay, so did you get any idea about UPSC exam as to how much tough it is and how much do you need to work hard on that? Have you got any idea about that?
Yeah, not exactly, but I have been watching videos of all those UPSC aspirant and who have got rank one, rank two. So I have been getting ideas from them. I have been regularly observing videos of toppers. So I'm trying to do the things that they are explaining in the videos.
Okay, and if I tell you to describe the happiest moment of your life, then what would you say? Was there any such moment in your life so far? And if it was there, can you give me some information about that?
The happiest moment I had in my life when I expected that I wouldn't get good marks in my board exam. I thought I might have to suffer from failures, but what happened after I saw the result, it was more than 85%. So that was one of the happiest moment I had in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, is there any decision in your life which you regret now, which you feel that I shouldn't have taken that decision, but I took that? Do you ever?
Well, yeah, actually, like when I was a teenager, so at that time, I shouldn't have taken some decision on my own, but still I took those decisions, and I feel regret for those because earlier I had a kind of conception in mind that big city has big education, and because of that intention I went to Mumbai that I will get big education because it's a big city. But I just wasted my 3 to 4 months over there, and I was really wrong about what I used to think that big city will have a great, big education. So, that was one of the decisions I took by myself, and I feel regret about that.
Okay, and Mr. Naseem Akram, as you know that everybody faces some problems in his or her life. So whenever you face the problems, then how do you deal with your problems?
Yeah, to be honest, earlier I used to become panic whenever I had any kind of problem. But as I am becoming more and more mature, so now I try to deal with the things by myself because for every question there is two solutions. Just let it go or try to solve it. If I let it go, then I have to suffer a lot from that question if I don't solve that. But at the same time, if I try, what are the outcomes and what are the answer I can get and how can I deal with this problem? So like every problem cannot be solved in a single way. So a different problem has to be solved in different ways. So at that time I just take suggestion from my brothers, from my friends, and they suggest me ki how can I deal with this problem actually. But earlier I used to become panic whenever I see even bit of problem.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever we face the problems, it is good for us to face them rather than running away from them. But in some of the situations, sometimes, don't you think that it is better to avoid that problem at least for some time rather than facing it at that point of time?
Yeah, exactly. Sometime to avoid some problem is also a good step actually. I can say it's also a good solution. Because if I'm going to deal with something that isn't possible to deal, so it will consume a lot of time. So better I skip this section and try to move forward actually. So I think it will be the best solution if rather than I waste time over there, I just try to do something else.
Okay, and Mr. Naseem Akram, to which state you belong to?
I belong to Bihar.
Okay, you are from Bihar. So, how is
Yeah.
the situation of COVID-19 right now in Bihar?
Yeah, because people are being vaccinated on large scale. So everywhere across India, the situation is normalizing. So same thing is happening in Bihar as well. Day-to-day situation is getting normalized. So there is nothing in the name of lockdown. The people are free to move here and there, and the work is going on as usual. So now there is no worry about COVID actually.
And do you think that the Bihar government has dealt with the COVID-19 problem in a proper manner, or do you have some grudges about your
Well,
government?
if I talk about the first phase of COVID-19, at that time the government wasn't that much active towards COVID actually, because government thought that if I will allow migrants to come in Bihar, then they will just spread virus among the people. But even they were citizen of Bihar, but still the Bihar government did not allow them to come into Bihar, and that's why they had to face a lot of problems. So at that time, just Bihar government thought that Bihar government to escape from its own responsibility, it just put ban on all those people who were residing out of the state. They were residing just for the employment, but at the time of crisis, they were not allowed to enter in their own home. So yeah, earlier the government wasn't serious towards COVID actually, and they were not dealing with this in a sensible way. But in after second phase, the government is doing great, and the people are being vaccinated on large scale. So now I don't have any problem with this government. They are really doing fine.
And one more thing I would like to ask you that many people from the states like Bihar, Jharkhand, and Uttar Pradesh, no, they come to Mumbai, okay, in search of the jobs. So, what is the reason behind that? Means in your state, industries are not there. What's wrong that they need to come back? They need to come to Maharashtra for searching the jobs.
Yeah, actually, To establish any kind of industry, we need raw materials, and we should have location where establishing an industry is possible. But talking about Bihar, we are not counted among those states who is I mean, I don't have what to define, but who is not next to the sea actually. But at the same time, if I talk about Mumbai, it's easy to establish factories over there, industries over there. So, there is a lot of employment in Mumbai or Maharashtra. I talk about this state, but in my state, it's not like that. So the people of Bihar, they have to migrate willingly or unwillingly to other states.
And one more thing is very much surprising as you yourself accepted the fact that Bihar is a very backward state. But most of the IAS officers, IPS officers, and the officers in the railway department, they come from Bihar. So I'm always surprised as how can it happen? So what is the reason?
Actually,
Yes.
yeah, ac- actually, one can feel the value of food who has been hungry for a lot of time. So, talking about Bihar, we don't have job. We don't have job in private sector. So we know that what's going to happen if we don't get any job. So basically, people focus more onto the government job in Bihar. It's not only about IS or rest of the jobs. Bihari people, they mostly focus on government job and including UPSC as well. So that is the reason why most of the IS and IPS, they are coming from Bihar. That is the reason, I think.
Okay, and when the lockdown was announced for the first time, for the first 21 days, it was very much strict. So how did you manage to spend those 21 days?
Actually, it's a time of 4G, so everyone is connected to one person to another one through internet and social media. So even I was being quarantined in my house, still I was in contact with my friends, with my relatives. So I was spending my time with them, just chatting, and at the same time, I got a good scope to improve my English. So I started doing practice English with my friends, and because of this lockdown, I got a huge time and I started improving my English. So yeah, it was easy for me to enjoy during those days.
Okay, and if you compare your life before pandemic and the life right now, so what are the differences do you find?
Well, I would say that my life before pandemic was much, much better than what it is right now, because it has been locked down for almost 2 years, not exactly, but for almost 2 years. So the study wasn't that good. It was going smoothly, but it wasn't as per my expectation. Earlier, I used to work hard. Earlier I used to work hard before pandemic, but after pandemic, my momentum somehow decreased. So I think this isn't that good as it used to be before lockdown.
And if I ask you about the central government, means the government of India, so do you think that the government of India has managed this problem in a nice manner, or were they lacking somewhere? If they were lacking, then what was lacking?
Well, if I talk about right now, so I think the government is doing fine right now. But again, if we look at, if we go to the past few months back, then the vaccination wasn't going on large scale. Like the government were importing its own vaccine to the other countries. But Indian were needed more vaccine, but still we didn't have vaccine actually. So at that time, the government wasn't serious towards this COVID. But now, because it's going on large scale, so I would say that the government is doing fine right now. But if we go a few months back, the government wasn't serious actually. Because of that, the government exported vaccine to other country. I don't remember the name of that country exactly, but I got this news from somewhere.
Okay, and what do you think that which country is mostly responsible for this situation?
Here I cannot blame a single country actually. A lot of people they blame China. So I mean, if the virus has really originated from China, so or China is somehow responsible for this. But again, again, most of the countries in the world, even they are responsible as well, because they have been failed in managing the COVID. I mean, if they could understand how dangerous the COVID could be, then they could put the lockdown at the right time. But after the COVID started spreading on large scale, then every government across the world, they started putting lockdown. But the same thing they would have done before. I mean, before the time actually. At the time they did, they would have done just it before that. Then it would have been much effective and more better, I guess.
And Mr. Naseem, at last, I would like to ask you, do you think that it will be possible for the world to get rid of this problem completely?
Sorry, I didn't get your question actually.
I asked you, do you think that it will be possible for all the countries of the world to get rid of this problem completely?
Well, it's not easy to get out of this problem in a bit of time actually. Like even before this crisis, we had a lot of crisis. Like we had faced a lot of crisis in the past. I would like to talk about one of the diseases that was so common. You might be knowing about polio actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, somehow we have been able to deal with the polio, but still, few, less than 0.1% or less than 1% of these kind of diseases exist somewhere in some part of India as well, like polio. But we have been able to deal with this polio after a long time. I mean, it was a war of great time interval. So same thing is going to happen in case of COVID. It's not easy to deal with this COVID in a bit of time. It will take some time, some years, and after that, we will come out of this problem.
Yeah, exactly. So here we have reached to the concluding part of our session. So, Mr. Naseem Akram, would you like to ask me something?
Well, yeah, actually, I didn't prepare any question to ask you, but okay. Can you give me some suggestion about my English? How can I improve it?
Yeah, you are already perfect in English, but still, if you need to improve your English more, then obviously you can continue your practice. I don't think any
Yeah,
other
but
mostly means your sentences are grammatically correct. But if you feel that you were lacking something, then you can solve that problem only by practicing more and more.
yeah, but at some point of time while speaking, I have done bit of mistakes. I noticed that after I do it actually, but still I do this mistake. I mean, like sometime when I say he's one of my best friend, I say like that he's one of my best friend, but rather it should be he's one of my best friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
Whenever we use one of, noun should be plural in that.
yeah, so even I have been doing this mistake right from beginning to now. So oh,
Yeah,
I mean, this is the problem.
but the good thing is that you know about your mistakes, no? And why you are committing
Yeah,
them, just because you lack a little bit practice.
yeah.
If you continue the same, I think those drawbacks also you can overcome. So it was nice talking to you, Mr. Naseem Akram. Have a nice day.